Oh, yeah. That's fantastic.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Invictus Racing League Championship Finale. This is it, round 12, the Vietnamese Grand Prix. It all ends tonight, and while the drivers' standings have been concluded, it's a very, very different story with the constructors. But before we get into that, let's first show you around the Vietnam racetrack, a track that's likely not to be showing again in 2021, but we do have it here in this game. 23 corners, a real challenge for the drivers here. It has been very mixed reception from most drivers in this game, but it will certainly prove to be an interesting race at the very least. I'm of course your host with the most, Lightshot16, once again bringing you the coverage of the F2 division, the F2 League of the Invictus Racing League, and I am of course once again joined by my co-commentator TES Madman. How are we doing tonight, my friend?
I'm in a very try not to laugh if you're host with the most comment. Actually, it was very good. Actually, I loved it. But no, I'm good. I'm looking forward to some interesting racing tonight. I think that's the way I'm going to sum it up.
Yes, now just before we actually get into it though, we are actually going to be holding a minute's silence at the start of qualifying. This is in respect for Armistice Day, I believe it's. Yeah, Armistice Day, that's it, yes. So it'll be a minute's silence. No driver will be allowed to exit the I can't think. Exit the garage in that time. Yeah, pit lane. They must stay in the garage for this whole minute. They'll only have 17 minutes of qualifying, but I'm going to keep quiet and turn things down while we hold this minute silence. So if everyone else could do that, please do so, yourself included, man. Just keep your mics muted and we'll have a minute silence, and then we will get back onto your main event. So going dark now. There we go then. We have queued and we have had the minute silence for Armistice Day. Thank you very much for everyone else who took part. Thank you very much, Madman. You can start talking now.
I've just checked the chat and, well, the Discord. Qualifying dry race will be overcast, so yeah, dry race quali.
Dry race and quali. Fair enough. I'm just going to turn you up a tiny bit just so that they can definitely hear you.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice indeed. So, let's get back on to what we were talking about just before we took the minute silence. That being Vietnam. It's certainly an interesting track. Like I said in the intro, it's definitely had some mixed reception amongst the drivers. What are your views on the racetrack?
It's growing on me. I'm not gonna lie, it is growing on me. I think it's one of those. It's hard to get a flow on it, but when you've got a flow, I think you're doing fine.
Yes,
you've just got to get into that groove. What I would say is that it's probably the most diverse track when you think about it, considering what it's got on it. You know, you go through sector 1, it's quite tight. You've got to follow a specific line to go fast on it, and then sector 2 is just straight, really, just a straight with a bit of a hairpin, and then sector 3's tight S's.
Yes, pretty much. I remember saying to someone, I think it was a couple of nights ago, that Vietnam really does have a very nice sweet spot if you can find it, but the problem being it is so difficult to find that sweet spot here. That's what the drivers are going to have to try and do, of course, though. Only 10 drivers tonight, a little bit of a limited turnout for the finale, but the main thing is we've got a yellow flag already. I think that might just be a Red Bull backing off though. But the main thing is, the main protagonists are all here, however, because as I said, while the drivers' standings have all been done and dusted, as you can look on the screen now, the Constructors' Championship is still very much up for grabs. With Racing Point Ferrari, nothing in it between them. 125 points for each of them, with the AlphaTauri team a further 9 points adrift. Now, admittedly, AlphaTauri will have to have a fairly miraculous race tonight, as only one of their drivers is here, that being Farfood, second place. As Dan23 hits the barrier. So I think AlphaTauri will need a bit of fortune. But as for the Ferrari and Racing Points, both drivers are here of each team. So it's very much game on between them. And, well, who's your money on, Madman? Who do you think is going to take the Constructors?
It's a tough one, because I think between the top drivers on both teams, there's not really much you can put between them. I think Maniac has shown that he can be on pace with Fairmotor at times, maybe even quicker. But I don't know if he's as consistent. And then I think their number 2s, I think Leclerc 16 is maybe just a little bit better than DZ mates. But again, you can't really put much between them in the races that we've seen.
You absolutely can't.
I'd say advantage Ferrari maybe, but it's the slimmest of margins. It is, honestly. With 10 drivers here, everyone's getting points tonight, as long as you finish.
Very much so. So the first time's on the board. Dan23 sets a 1:35.0 on the softs, followed by DZ Mates 1:37.2 on the mediums. Then comes Jamie29 1:35.1 on the softs. And then fastest lap, however, that's a good lap set by Botched Gerbil 1:34.0. And yeah, that's a quite impressive time actually. I mean, I'm just trying to remember what the times that I've been setting. Last time I qualified here, admittedly it was on a preset, but it was a 34.2, I think was the lap I set here. So times are looking fairly quick then.
I'll just confirm that for you, Mark.
Yes, it is, yes. So yeah, next up is the lone AlphaTauri of Farfu. Like I said, it's got all to do if he's going to solely take the Constructors' title tonight. He kind of really needs a bit of an implosion on both the Racing Point and Ferrari teams, but it's not impossible. But he'll need to improve maybe a little bit more than a 34.7. 7 tenths off of Botched Gerbil's impressive early pace. We've still got 4 drivers yet to set times. The next one is Alpaca Carbon in the Mercedes. Got his first podium finish last time out, round 11, which was of course the Russian Grand Prix. It was also the first victory, I believe, for Mats Wens in the Red Bull. As Alpaca goes 6th fastest, 136.2. Slowest of all the soft runners so far. Next.
Just to go back to the point you said earlier, yeah, it was a 34.2 that you set.
Okay.
It's just about 42, 34.2. But yeah, no, this is a tricky track on presets, so I imagine it'd feel a bit nicer on a customer side. No, that you have quite a nice setup around here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, last time I drove a custom setup, I think I was in the 33 somewhere. Fair Moto improved 34.3, about 3 tenths off of Bot's Gerbil, who does seem to be a good qualifier. Obviously, he took pole position a couple of rounds ago in Azerbaijan, so definitely seems to have the pace and quality. Does the Gerbil. Next up, I believe, is RS F1 Maniac is next. He's just coming through the final couple of corners.
I do love that section of the track. It's so
it's
one of the really on the limit areas.
This final corner though, deceptively, as RS Maniac does go third fastest, but he clouted the wall as he did so. Deceptively, I think that final corner is actually the worst corner on the track, at least like the trickiest anyway. It's very Monaco-like. It's very Monaco-like. You know, I think it's called Dubac in Monaco, where you have to basically turn in and hope the car will understeer wide. You kind of have to do the same sort of thing for that final corner around Vietnam. As Alpaca Carbon sets another lap and does improve 35.1. Now set by the Mercedes driver. He goes P7 for now.
I wonder if he was just getting a bit of a nose in for the track with those laps.
Potentially, he might just be trying to get his eye in with this track, because as I said, it is so hard to find the sweet spot here. You just, and it's being a street circuit as well. It is so unforgiving. If
yeah, 100%. Like you said with that final corner, you want to attack it as much as you can, but you've got to get the balance perfect on it. Otherwise, you will clout the wall and you've lost a bit of your wing. On qualifying, not so much time will be lost there. I think you lose about 2 tenths. In a race, you've lost a pit stop, really, because you'll have to replace the wing damage. I mean, you could go on without it, but there are some tight corners, like the S section, you just would lose too much time.
Yeah, wing damage is definitely going to be a critical component of this race. If anyone does get wing damage during the race, it's really going to hamper their pace. So they've really got to do their best to keep it out of the barriers, but keep the pace up as well. And that's easier said than done, especially at a track as unforgiving as this. I'm now going on board though with last week's race winner, Mats Wens, in the Red Bull, currently sitting P9. Maybe hasn't found the sweet spot of Vietnam just yet, but it was an impressive victory last time out. He obviously was being hounded by a driver that we both know, Matt45. Sadly, he's not here tonight, but yeah, it was an impressive win for the Dutchman, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was, especially for a debut win when you've got a guy sitting behind you. It's not, I can speak from experience, it's not fun. I say speak from experience. I've not had a win like that, actually. My win was a bit of a nice, quiet one in Canada, but I do know the feeling, because even the quiet ones are horrible, because it's all on you at that point. At least if you get overtaken by the guy behind you, you can kind of put it down to, oh, he's quicker, yeah, okay, I didn't deserve to win it, but no, he did everything he had to, and just had the pace when he needed it.
He did indeed. So yeah, he was very buoyed by that, as was Alpaca Carbon, as I said, with his first podium finish of the season. It was one of those manic races in Russia where a lot of the guys who maybe expected to be up there faltered in one form or another, and yes, what led to the everyone getting their first podiums in IRL in that race.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had like a whole new podium grid, didn't we?
We did indeed. Switching now.
Don't forget that tonight.
Onto Bot's Gerbil I'm switching onto now, because he's on a lap. Just come through the hairpin at the end of the DRS, the massive DRS straight. And he's currently a 10th up on his fastest time, so he's looking rapid again. He does seem to be the outright fastest man when it comes to quali trim. You go right, then left. It almost reminds me a bit of Maggots and Beckett's from Silverstone, that second section, just of course with walls. Yeah,
I was going to say it's similar to it, because I need to get a track map up to really be... Oh,
and he improves. 33.8. Good lap by the gerbil. Who else is out
I'm
there?
just still on board with Matt Swens.
Yeah.
While you were doing that.
I'm just switching back to him now, actually. So we'll stay on board with last week's race winner. He's coming towards the end of Sector 2. Let's look at... He's currently a 10.5 up. So
I don't know if it's a real purple, but...
Yeah, it's hard to say, obviously. Because the track map is not
this bit
always...
here, this corner here, I love it. Because you can take it flat. And some people don't do it. But honestly, you get the turning right, you keep your foot on the floor, and as long as the car sticks, you're golden.
Indeed. So, Matt Swen's coming up to the final corner. Oh, he's turned in too soon, though. What clouts the wall. Does still improve, 34.6, so does make you think...
I wonder what that would have been.
Exactly. What could that have been had he not... He turned it a little too early. Like I said, you've got to... I did say turn in early, but not that early, Matt.
Yeah.
As Farfu has improved as well, 34.3 set, so he's only a fraction off of the man who he was chasing in the championship before sadly having to miss Russia last week.
Well, I suppose we're getting a bit more representative times now. I want to see what everyone else can set, but
Jamie 29 just
Jamie 29.
improved, 34.8 for the second Red Bull, so only a couple of tenths off of Matt's. Not a bad time. He's looked fairly consistent, has Jamie. Maybe not quite on Matt's pace, but he had a good race last week despite some issues here and there. He still had a good recovery drive. I believe he finished in the points, so see what he can do.
Yeah. I've just noticed we've got no Haas drivers today, so they will end the season without a single point. Very sad.
That is very sad indeed for the Haas team. There were a couple of chances last week, especially with, I believe it was, who was it last week? Who it was, but there was someone who raced at Russia. It wasn't Smully, I don't think, who isn't here either. But there was a driver who drove last week. Dig it out now. Yeah, you'll have to dig it out because I can't quite remember who it was. On board now with Leclerc 16. He's just passed, I believe that's Jamie 29. He's just gone past through the hairpin. Now powering down. He's actually got his teammate ahead of him, who I don't know if he's on a lap. Leclerc, however, is down on his current times though, so he's not improving anyway. As the Ferrari seems to struggle to find a bit that extra bit more pace it needs. And they're both coming into the pits. A double pit stop for the Ferrari coming up then.
It was Skirata that raced in the Haas.
And that's Skirata, that's it, yes. And that's a good improvement by DZ Mates. Goes P2 just ahead of his teammate, but still a good 4.5 tenths down off of Bot's Gerbil's impressive opening pace. Here's the low.
I called him a number 2.
You call him number 2, and then he goes and absolutely smashes it because his number 1 driver is not here. And to be honest, if his quote unquote number 1 driver was here, I don't think he'd really be challenging Bot's Gerbil anyway, because we both have it on good authority that Matt 45 does not like this track. So
yeah, no, he definitely wouldn't have been with him at all. I don't think. I think fifth maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his qualifying time in our league was, but I'm assuming it wasn't.
I've no idea.
I'm going to have a look.
So, just under 3 minutes to go then. So I think everyone will be coming out sort of around now for their final laps. I don't know if DZ Mates is going to have enough time for another run. The same for Alpaca Carbon, who is just coming back to the pits. So, could be a bit of a tight squeeze for them getting out again. I definitely don't think DZ Mates is going to.
It's a good lap though, getting P2. Be interesting to see if anyone will jump him. The difference between him and his teammate is only 11/100ths of a second.
Indeed, looking very close. Dan 23's out there. Had a bit of a difficult race in the Williams last week out. Both he and Bayside Snake, I believe, failed to finish in the end. So Williams had a difficult outing around Russia as, Mates retires in the pit lane. So he knows he's not going to have enough time.
Yeah, I was just looking at the timer actually. You'd have to be in the pit now to come out in time.
I I think Alpaca Carbon might just squeeze out if he's straight out the garage now, but he's going to have to get a move on. Everyone else out there on track, except for Matt Wenz, who is just coming out the pit lane now, so he's leaving it the absolute last second.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll have enough time to get round. He's going
Ooh,
to have to push it on this lap. He's going to have to go for a hot lap on a out lap.
Yeah, which means his tyres may not be at their best come the end of the qualifying, so we'll have to wait and see. And Alpaca Carbon Alpaca Carbon, I think, is coming out of the pits, but I think he's got a similar issue. Surely will not have enough time to get round, because it's a 35 lap time at best. Well, he's on a 35. So
yeah, I don't think he'll make it. Oh, Wenz has just damaged. Yeah, he's damaged his wing. I don't think he'll be doing his lap.
So that's last week's race winner in difficulties. Likely will not improve down on his P6, which could be under threat. As Dan 23, 2 temps up on his best first sector time. So the Williams is looking quick then. We'll stay on board.
Corner there as well, actually, from him. I've just gone on board.
Yeah.
It's a deceptive one, because you've got to go almost as to wide as you want to get the turn in, so you've got all the speed down the straight.
It's also a matter of traction. The same with turn 2 as well. You've got to be so careful not to overstep the mark, but you've got to also try and find the limit of that traction and make sure you're right on it to nail the corners and also to nail the corner exits onto the main straight. But Dan 23, good lap on here. He's a half a second up on his time, but he does have the Mercedes of Alpaca Carbon just ahead of him, and I don't think Alpaca's going to make it, so surely
he's not made it.
Surely he should be getting out of the way here.
I don't know if he's going to compromise Dan 23 here, because
this could be interesting then. We'll have to see what Dan 23's time is. He takes the final corner beautifully, to be fair. And he does improve. Good lap by Dan. Goes P6, 134.4. So he did find a couple attempts. Next up is Bots Gerbil, the current pole sitter. Is he going any faster, though? We'll find out in a second. He's just coming towards the final corner now. The gerbil goes around his cage, he comes across the line, he does improve. That is a good lap time. Fair Moto does improve as well, finds a good chunk of time. Next up is IRL F1 Maniac, goes P3 for the moment, 34.2 for the Maniac. I think next up is Jamie 29, just coming around the final couple of corners. Let's see if he can find any time to improve. Oh, he's done the same thing his teammate did, whacks the wall, and that will scupper his lap time, and that is unfortunately his quali over. Leclerc does not improve either, will stay P9, and I don't think Max Wenz is on the lap, so I believe that is all she wrote then. So it is another pole position for Bots Gerbil, but you'd have to say advantage racing point then, second and fourth, with Ferrari only 3rd and 9th and AlphaTauri 5th, so it's definitely advantage racing point then in the constructors fight. So
yeah, definitely. Just want to say good laps from Gerbil there, because I went on board with him just after he came through the second sector split. He was a 10.5 down on his time.
Really?
So he gained a lot in the final sector.
Nailed that final sector then and found a good chunk of time. Congratulations to Bots Gerbil. Comfortably takes, well, not comfortably, 2 temps clear of the F2 champion Fair Moto. Already crowned that last week in Russia. IRL F1 Maniac flying the hopes of the Scuderia in P3. He's in a racing point sandwich though with DZ mates behind him in P4. Then Farfu, the lone AlphaTauri, trying to fight that constructors fight on his own in P5. Dan 23, good effort by him in the Williams, go P6 ahead of both Red Bulls. Last week's race winner Matt Wenz and Jamie 29 locking out the 4th row. Then Leclerc 16, perhaps a disappointing effort in qualifying for him, only P9. And Alpaca Carbon, he's going to have a pretty good race to repeat the podium triumph last week. He starts this race 10th and last. And crucially, because there's only 10 drivers, it does, of course, mean there will be no benefits in terms of tyre being outside the top 10. So all of these guys will have to start on those soft tyres that they qualified on.
Yeah, and as we both know, soft tyres are good here. They're very good here.
They are, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be interested to see if anyone uses the hard today, but I wouldn't use it myself. Put it that way.
No, we'll have to wait and see, of course. Let's go over the grid one more time then, just before we get underway. So it is another pole position for Botched Gerbil, who is looking to very much seal his position as third place. And I'll tell you what, with Farfu's no-show, it's actually very close between those two. 77 points plays 76 points. So Botched Gerbil could still snatch P2 away from Farfu. So there is still a fight between those two. But with Botched Gerbil on pole, he's got a good chance. Fair Moto, already crowned Drivers' Champion, but he wants to seal the Constructors' deal as well. He's put himself in a good position to do it with P2. RSF1 Maniac, flying the hopes for the Scuderia Ferrari. The Tifosi behind him, he starts P3, but he's in a Racing Point sandwich with DZ mates behind him in 4th position. Racing Point definitely have the edge in qualifying, but could it be different in the race? Farfu starts P5 ahead of Dan 23 in the Williams, who is in P5. Had some good early form actually. Dan has some wins in France and the Netherlands, has since however had a really bad turn of form, DNFs and DNSs in the last 4 races for Dan, but can he end the season on a high? We'll have to wait and see, of course. Then, behind Dan, last week's race winner, Mats Wenz in the Red Bull, hoping to have a good end of the season as well, with his teammate just behind, Jamie 29. Mats Wenz is only 3 points behind RSF1 Maniac, so there is a battle going on, and with Dan 23 only 2 points ahead of those. Those three drivers very much in their own fight as well. Leclerc 16 starts P9 as well. He's only on 67 points, so still very much stuff to fight for in this Drivers' Championship, even with the title already decided. And then Alpaca Carbon, he is in 11th. A good result today with Scrub not here. He could at least jump him for P10. He would have to have a good race to jump Brad AFC for P9. But can he repeat last week's podium result? Anything could happen in this race, so make sure you stay on board with us as we see everything starting to come good, and we should be underway shortly. So Madman, I've got one question just before we start. Well, I've got 2 questions actually. Who's going to win the race, and who is going to be crowned Constructors' Champions? Because let's just go over to the possibilities again. 125 points for Racing Point Ferrari, 116 for AlphaTauri. Who's your money on?
He can get up a few places as well, which I think he can. As to the winner of a race, it's hard to call between the top 3, but I'm going to say... Well, I'm going to have to go with my prediction for Ferrari. I'm just going to have to say Maniac's going to win it. But I would not be surprised if it was Botched Gerbil.
Okay, so I was a bit of an idiot there because I put the Constructors' standings on the screen, but it also meant that they couldn't hear you briefly. So I will just inform that he did back Ferrari to win the Constructors. They did hear your prediction for the win of the race. So you think RSF1 Maniac's going to do it? It's definitely a fair chance, but Botched Gerbil, I mean, look at his Azerbaijan race. He started pole, had a difficult race, and still came back to win it. I've got to go with Botched Gerbil for the race. As for the Constructors, I fear that good effort in qualifying by Racing Point could be telling, and I'm going to go the opposite way. I think Racing Point are going to do enough to seal. If Ferrari are going to do it, they need Leclerc to have a fantastic race. They need his race pace to be much better than his quality pace was, because P9, he's not made it easy for the Italian outfit. He's got a lot of drivers ahead of him that he's got to try and get past somehow. Yeah, the Racing Points could work together here. They don't have anything to fight for really in the drivers' standings, I don't think. Benmotor's already won. DZ Mates down in 13th. Could jump ahead of... If Alpaca Carbon has a bad race, he could jump ahead of Alpaca and Scrub and Ricardo. But otherwise, yeah, DZ Mates, I think the Constructors is definitely going to be firmly on his mind tonight. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what their plan is. But they are just coming to the end of the formation.
Tell you what, the pack is really stretched out.
It is, yeah, because we can see. And has there been an issue for one of the Racing Points who's right at the back? I think it's DZ Mates. Right
Either that or he just wants to warm his tyres.
Could be, one way or another, but he is going to be the last driver to slot in. Although a pack of carbon. So they have the strategy. So soft, medium, soft could be the most likely. Free stop potential, but I don't really think, unless it's a safety car, I think a two-stop is probably the more likely way to go. We'll have to wait and see what they do. But for the final time tonight then, we have 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And for the final time, it is go, go, go here at Vietnam. It's a good start, I think, for Vermoto. He's challenging Botstrobel there as they come towards the line. RSF Maniac getting involved as well. But Botstrobel holds his line. All bit of ghosting going on there. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's Vermoto trying to challenge around the outside. F1 Maniac getting involved as well. DZ Mates under pressure from Farfu as well. Vermoto holds on to P2. RSF Maniac fighting him hard. He knows he has to fight hard here. He has to get past that Racing Point if he's going to give Ferrari any chances in constructors. Bot's Gerbil still holds the lead though. Fair Gerbil and Maniac having a look. There's a bit of movement at the back. Jamie 29's had a good start. He's just passed down 23 for P6. So he's had a good start. Leclerc's not had the start he needs. He's down in P10, as is Max Wenzer. Pack of Carbon up 2 places. He's up to 8th place. Good start then for Jamie 29. He's up 2 places. Our Pack of Carbon's up 2 places as well. They've had the biggest movements off the grid. As Jamie 29.
I'm glad that the board on the left has now sorted itself out, so I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, so yeah, our Pack of Carbon's Mercedes was being a bit glitchy. Oh, it's Jamie 29. Oh, and Dan 29. Oh, he's done. Well, I think we know exactly what he's done there. He's
yeah, we know.
We know, but it's allowed Jamie. Oh, so Dan 23 got it. Oh, he's contact with Jamie and Farfu. Oh, and Jamie's in the wall. Jamie's in the wall. Oh my God, that's absolutely escalated there. So Dan 23 got his braking all wrong into the hairpin. He kind of had no choice but to try and go left, and he's ended up cannonballing into the side of, I believe it was Farfu, which put him all out of shape. It allowed Jamie to have a go, but there's been contact, and 4 drivers are already in the pits then. Jamie, Alpaca Carbon, Matt Wenz, and Dan 23 already having to come in. So, and Fair Moto, what's happened to Fair Moto? Oh no, it's just timing glitch, never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah, what's going on there?
The Ferrari 1 and 3.
Yeah.
My predictions are good.
Well, what a start we've just had. What a start.
Take a moment to breathe, Mark.
Yes, I think I do need to breathe, sorry.
It all just went a bit, yeah.
I might have to watch that back. That's one of my favourite openings to a race ever.
I think it went a bit maniac. It's
RSF1 Maniac! Speaking of Maniac, he's in the wall, he's still going, but he's completely lost his front wing. Virtual safety car has been deployed. What on earth has happened to RSF1 Maniac? And
I think I've caught your commentator's curse.
Yeah, I think you have done, because that surely, unless there's a major incident later on now, that could be Ferrari's constructor hopes completely out the window now.
Yeah, that was an interesting one actually. I missed it because I was on board with I can't remember now. I think I was on board with Leclerc, who's now incidentally P5. I said he'd have a good start.
He did. He definitely did.
But yeah, interesting one.
So VSC now out. Botstrobel. Oh, it's already ended though. Not a very long one, so no one even has time to even consider boxing under the VSC. Botstrobel holds on to the lead then. Then we've got a Racing Point 2-3. This is a dream scenario for them. Oh, but there's been contact. I think there was contact, but did Fairmoto just clout the wall? Just gonna have a look.
Check that wing.
Wow, look at that. He's missing both end plates on that wing, is Fairmoto. So that is
DZ Mates has got wing damage as well.
DZ Mates has wing damage as well. So
no one wants the constructors tonight.
No, it doesn't seem like it. And I just wonder if Farfu, as RSF Maniacs into the pits, I wonder if Farfu might just smell an opportunity here. Then can look at this. He's already on the back of DZ Mates. He's going up the outside, and DZ Mates surely can't fight this. He is trying his best, but Farfu has the inside line. And oh, look at the damage. The damage is definitely affecting Mates through that corner. But the question is now, can he maybe strike back on the DRS straight? DRS is enabled, of course, from lap 3 onwards. As Maniac.
Yeah, see, Barfu is gonna. He has to keep him behind here because he'll lose so much time in the S section if he gets ahead.
It looks as though he is doing just that. DZ Mate's nowhere near close enough. Oh, he's still clouting the back of him though. Barfu just can't seem to catch a break at that hairpin at the moment. He's been clouted by Dan. He's been hit by DZ Mates. It's been a bit of a...
Remarkably, he's still going in a straight line.
Yeah, he's doing alright so far. So it's up to P3 now, and I wonder if he'll know of Fairmoto's damage up ahead. Because we've seen Fairmoto doesn't have either end plate on his car, and that's got to be affecting his performance around these corners. This looks, yeah, oh my god, yeah, look at the turn in there. As Botch Joe, fastest lap of the race, he is starting to pull away from these guys, and as Farfu is pulling away from Mates and starting to reel in the F2 champion, who is not in a good way. And I'll tell you what, I know I mentioned Leclerc having a better race. I mean, he doesn't have damage either. I mean, he could still be the saviour that Ferrari needs right now. He can just keep out of the wall.
Actually, he'd come out in P3 if they both pit.
Exactly.
Which they haven't yet, but he'll get up right on the back of them either way.
Exactly. And he's got a massive 23-second gap back to Jamie 29, who has Alpaca Carbon a couple of seconds behind him. Then it's Dan 23, hanging on to P8, and then there's a close battle for the winner's boot. Oh, Jamie's just clouted the wall. Oh, and there goes an end plate for the Red Bull. They are struggling around this track.
Maybe what we should have done is not predict the winner of the race, but predict who'd hit the wall least.
Yeah, that might have been more fun, to be fair.
Well, a bit late to start it now, but I think I'm going to go with Bot's Gerbil on that one.
Oh, big spin for
it.
Jamie, lost it. Oh, I wonder if that damage maybe contributed to that. Mats Wenzer's, meanwhile, has just been passed by RSF or Maniac as well, so Red Bull going backwards at the moment. Dan 23 takes Jamie as well. Oh, that was a nasty crash. Well, it's still not over yet because there's still a long way to go. Of course, 24 laps still to go. We've barely scratched the surface of this race, and there's already been so many incidents so far. This is, well, this has been a very interesting start to the Vietnamese Grand Prix. It's been incident-packed, and I'll tell you what, we've got the racing points are coming under pressure. Fairmoto from his closest rival in the championship, Farfu. DZ Mates, meanwhile, under pressure from Leclerc, who he desperately really does need to try and keep behind him.
As Rymac just said in the chat, absolute carnage. I think I can't describe it a better way myself, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that does sum it up fairly well. It has been utter carnage so far, as Jamie 29 is coming into the pits again because of the damage he suffered. In fact, it's a retirement in the pit lane, so I think he's had enough already. It's only been 4 laps. It's definitely been a difficult race for the Red Bulls. Here comes Farfu then on Fairmoto. Down the DRS straight, closing. Fairmoto's surely got no defence there, and Farfu relinquishes Fairmoto of P2.
That was incredible closing speed, to be honest. It was like.
Meanwhile, DZ Mates and Leclerc going into combat, and Leclerc takes the inside line, and he is past DZ Mates. So Racing Point now starting to go backwards. They're still probably in. If it ended now, I think they would still win the Constructors. 10 points for Fairmoto. I think 15, 12, 10, 8, 6. Yeah, 16 points for Racing Point. It would be 8. It would be 11 for Ferrari, and it would be 12 for AlphaTauri. So if it ended now, Racing Points would still be Constructors champion, but it's not going to end now. It's still a long way to go.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's one of those as well where there might not be a lot of on-track action, but the drama of just the racing itself is just enough. Like,
exactly. It's looking good so far. Rymac in the chat saying the entire F1 budget blew in 1 week for front wings, and it's only lap 5. That's whatever. Bit. I mean, we've got another pit stop. Dan 23's coming into the pits now in the Williams, so must have been some damage done to him for this early of a pit stop.
I hope it's not a retirement.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope these guys keep going, because they've got to realise, like, they're going to be scoring points no matter what, as long as they finish. anything could still happen. We could have a safety car that bunches the field back up. That would be lovely. Do not give up, guys, because anything can happen in Formula 1. As the famous Murray Walker used to say, anything can happen, and it usually does.
I mean, China, for example, was crazy for us on Sunday. Rather.
Oh, absolutely. That was an absolutely mad race in the Sunday League we raced. So,
and you still managed to get a podium.
Somehow.
On the wrong tyres.
On the wrong tyres, pretty much sticking to my strategy rather than pitting under the safety cars we had. Yeah, I was quite happy with that race, but...
I was nearly happy.
You were nearly happy. Quality commentary. Thank you very much, Alexander Pantelli. I appreciate that. We are doing our best.
We got his name right this week.
Yes, we did. And into the pits, meanwhile, DZ Mate's coming in for his first stop. He's had enough of these tyres and maybe the damage as well, causing an issue. So into the pits he comes. So lap 7 then. Let's take stock. Bots Gerbil still leads. 6.2 seconds the gap he has. And it's actually increasing over Farfu, who's in P2. Fairmoto P3 for racing points as DZ Mate's putting on the medium tyres for this stop. Leclerc 16, P4. Ferrari still very much in the fight, but I think they still need a bit of fortune at the moment. DZ Mates comes out P6 behind Alpaca Carbon, 2 seconds behind them to be precise, but we think both of them probably still have at least 2 stops to go. We'll have to wait and see what strategy Alpaca Carbon maybe tries. But yeah, the field's a bit spread out now at the moment. Had some mad action at the start, been a lot of contact going on, and now it's all settled down a little bit now. So closest battle actually at the moment is Leclerc, who is closing in on the damaged racing point of Fairmoto.
Yeah, not closing as quick as I thought he would, but I was going to say Farfu is maybe just a tenth or two slower than Bots Gerbil, I think, at the moment, because the gap is stabilised-ish, but then Bots Gerbil will then eke out a tenth or two across the lap. But yeah, I mean, imagine if he was on the back of him from the start, maybe he would have been sitting in his DRS.
Oh, Leclerc going through the final corner, hit the inside wall. Did he get damage? Oh, let's have a look. Yes, left end plate's gone. Oh, left end plate's gone for Leclerc. Turned too early into that corner. Oh, it's such a difficult corner. Like I said, deceptively, the hardest corner on the track, I think, that final corner.
Yeah.
And it is what's catching people out here. Leclerc is still in DRS range of Fairmoto, and we know he's got even more damage than Leclerc, so he could still have enough downforce on him to maybe mount a challenge on the racing point, but to see if he's got enough ERS for the straight. In the chat, Rymax saying Bots Gerbil showing he could have challenged for the title if he wasn't for some unfortunate results. You're absolutely right. Had it not been for just having a look at his yeah, he had a couple of DNFs in Monaco and Belgium and a disqualification in China. He could very well have been in this fight for the standings, for the win, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, as I heard that comment, and read it myself, I 100% agree, because he was quick in Baku, especially in those changeable conditions. It was very difficult for anyone, and he was just made a mistake, but then got straight back on it and made it up again.
Yes, absolutely. So he's showing his class today. He is keeping the gap fairly consistent to Farfu. Meanwhile, both Fairmoto and Leclerc into the pits. So they're both pitting on the same lap, keeping to their strategies then. No undercuts or overcuts going on here then.
You wonder, it'd be interesting to see if the Ferrari can get out ahead of that racing point. Sometimes you get these pit stops.
And now this is interesting. Hard compound tyres going on Leclerc, mediums going on Fairmoto. That's a interesting gamble by the Ferrari driver, perhaps knowing he's got to try something a bit different.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been my first choice of tyres, but...
Definitely not, but we'll see if he can make them work. Meanwhile, another battle brewing. DZ Mates all over the back of Alpaca Carbon. Oh, and Alpaca's gone wide there. And oh my god, out comes Fairmoto. Just ahead of this battle.
Oh,
And Leclerc just behind it.
mate's just clouted the back of Carbon. I wonder if he got any damage from that. No,
Doesn't look like it. No, looks okay. All okay on the Racing Point as Matt Wenz leaves the session, so he's had enough as well. Unfortunately, it's just not been Red Bull's day. Dan 23's into the pits as well. So it looks as though some of the drivers have just had enough of this Vietnam racetrack. And how crucial was that for Fair Moto coming out ahead of the Alpaca Carbon DZ Mates battle?
Very, because also DZ Mates got ahead of Leclerc as well, so Leclerc's really lost out here. If he didn't have to get that win
DZ Mates, is he going to try and move on Alpaca Carbon? He does dive up the inside. Alpaca gives him the space, but tries to hang it round the outside, side by side. I think DZ Mates just has the advantage. He is on 6 lap fresher tyres, but Alpaca Carbon's not going to give this up.
Ooh.
Oh, there's some contact between them. That was a bit naughty, bold move. Whichever way you look at it, Alpaca Carbon just holds on. It's also allowing Leclerc to stay close. And, well, look at the gap that's already formed between Fair Moto and Alpaca Carbon as Bots Gerbil has made his first pit stop. And has come up very comfortably in P2. But at the moment,
Jesus, got a massive gap.
At the moment, I think we're looking at a 2-horse race for the victory, and it's a victory that Farfu really needs if he's got any hope of the Constructors' Championship. But unfortunately,
Safety car really spice things up right now, isn't it?
It really would. Whether we'll get one, I don't know. But Mates and Leclerc still stuck behind the stubborn Mercedes of Alpaca Carbon. Interesting to see if these guys keep their composure next season and compete at the top with the big boys. You're absolutely right. We'll have to wait and see, of course, what they do. Next season, of course, the IRL will be taking a short break after this race for Christmas, but the seasons will recommence after Christmas in January, so obviously make sure you do come back to us then when the season reopens. These are Mates. Goes for a dive on Alpaca Carbon, but Alpaca holds the inside line. That's smart defensive driving by the Mercedes there. And it's allowing Leclerc to maybe have a sniff on the Racing Point. This could be an important fight between the two of them, depending on how Fair Moto gets on up ahead.
Yeah, it's really helping his teammate out in a way, but it isn't, because I think Fair Moto would want these mates nearer him, but Alpaca Carbon's just showing us that he's got the ability to defend as well as attack, so...
Indeed he does. Now, something I'm finding very interesting, we're on lap 11, Farfu is still yet to stop. He's still yet to stop. He's done 10 laps on these softs, and we know that, I think we both know, these softs, they're probably the best tyre, but they do... After about lap 8, lap 9, they do start to lose a bit of performance, but I just wonder, do you think he might be trying a one-stop strategy here?
Well, I was just thinking that myself, actually. I looked at it last lap and thought we still stayed out, because we know that there's only so many laps you can do on these tyres before we have seen a puncture happen at this track, so they do happen.
They do, yes.
I was very close to puncture territory myself in that race as well, so... but I think he'd have to do, what, 13 laps and then do 15 on the mediums. Doable if he could do another 3 laps. Or 2 in this case.
Alpaca Carbon, I think, again, is going to hold DZ Mates at bay here. He seems to be doing better on the ERS front, although there's not actually much in between them. So maybe that Mercedes is just really slippery in a straight line there. But he's holding the race point at bay. And into its finally then comes the race leader. It'll be interesting to see what tyre he puts on. He's done 11 laps on the softs. So
mediums.
Medium tyres, so 17 laps on. I think that is possible if he is going to go for the one stop.
Yeah, it's not impossible.
We've seen drivers push the softs almost that long, so surely I think the mediums will get there. It's just a case of how much pace they'll have, because we have to assume Bots Gerbil is probably on a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I wouldn't discount Farfu rather from the win. He does need to claw some time back in this stint though, and leave it all for Bots Gerbil to do. He can do that. Could be his.
It definitely could be. Still 16 laps to go. We're not even half distance yet. So anything could still very much happen in this race. Meanwhile, I wonder if Mates might have a chance at Alpaca Carbon this time. Oh, bit of a twitchy moment there going through that long left-hander though. Oh, and it clouts the wall. He's lost some carbon. It's gone flying off, and that is not going to help.
Do you know what? That was brilliant. I'll give you that one. Oh, down 23 fastest lap. Glad to see he's still in the race because he'll get the point for it as well because, you know.
That's Wenz's left, so he's guaranteed at least P8 at the moment. So, yeah, good on Dan for continuing to go on as the Red Bulls have elected not to.
I mean, I can understand why you would leave as well when you're really at the back. There's not much going on. It can get a bit frustrating, but sometimes you've just got to hang it out a little bit as well and hope for the best.
Yeah, sometimes
90% of my races in F1 division in XL.
Well, look at
look
at the guys in real F1 when they're maybe not in the quickest cars or have had terrible races. They can't just call it in. They've got to just keep going and hope for the best. And sometimes they do get fortunate and get, you know, good results from it. So yeah, sometimes you've got to have the mentality and the temperament to just stick it out. And I'm sure it's something that these guys will learn as they continue to evolve as racers. Sometimes sticking it out is worth it, even if nothing else, you could just treat it as a practice session for another race at this track.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's literally just that. I mean, he's just clapped the wall again.
Yeah. Mates is struggling, it seems, with that damage now, and he's got Leclerc all over him now. I tell you what, Leclerc's pace on the hards, it's not been terrible.
No,
and in fact, he's having a look at. He's going for a move here on DZ Mates. It's a very bold move, and DZ Mates is going to hold the inside. But that is a good move by Leclerc. That is not usually somewhere you can get past, but he's done it very well.
I'll tip my hat off to him. To be honest, that was brilliant.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's making these hard tyres work surprisingly well. He's not losing too much pace. I know he is dropping off fair moto, but I think that's more because of the Alpaca Mates battle rather than his pace.
Speaking of Alpaca, his fan club is in the chat again.
Yes, that's not Matt, is it?
Nah.
Matt R4545.
I don't think. Oh, it could be actually.
Ask him if that's him, because obviously because it could be. But evil. Yes. Do you know what? I think it might be because I know it because of his surname.
Yeah, I just looked at the R and thought that is, and obviously. He is Matt 45, so yeah, it probably is Matt. Which in that case makes sense.
DZ Mates is in the pits.
90% sure Alpaca Carbon.
No, who is that Matt? Okay, I'm always saying it's him now. So he's rooting for Alpaca Carbon, currently running P4. And having a good race, considering, remember, Alpaca Carbon started 10th and last. He's having a solid race so far. Hard compound tyres and going on DZ Mates. Perhaps seen Leclerc's pace on those hards and thought, okay, maybe I can make them work. Perhaps didn't
fancy a bit of that sandwich.
Maybe didn't have any mediums left as well.
Yeah, maybe. Farfu's actually closed in quite a bit on Bots Gerbil, so if he does go for the one stop,
he's doing very well here. Yeah.
The ball is firmly in his court.
Absolutely. If let's just have a look, see if either of them have any damage. Their cars. Gonna have a look. Farfu's fine. Just gonna have a look at Bots Gerbil. Yap's 8 seconds. So yeah, it was about 9.4 when Farfu came out of the pit. So no, all good on both sides. So I think Farfu.
I hope not.
I think Farfu's just making better use of these medium tyres at the moment. Which is could very well help him later on.
Yeah, it does make sense because the tyres do drop off quite a bit here. Actually, I've noticed.
They do.
Performance-wise, anyway.
So just having a look. Oh, yellow flag! It's Dan 23's had another incident at the same place. Jamie lost it.
Giving us a bit of early donuts as well.
Yeah. That's unfortunate for Dan. He's still going though, so good on him for continuing on. So I was just going to say, looking at the constructors battle at the moment, so it would be 12 points for Farfu. Yellow flag, Dan 23 has retired. I think that might be... Oh, I don't know actually. Is that a crash?
I think he hit the wall, yeah.
Virtual safety car deployed then. Let's just have a look at this. Yeah, you're right, he has. He's hit the wall there. What on earth has happened there?
I wonder if because he might have lost his front wing, so as he's turned in, he's just not had the front end to do anything. That or he hit the wall on purpose, which we hope he hasn't.
We definitely hope not, but that does mean, of course, we've only got 7 drivers still going in because Matt Wenz had already left. And, wow, that's a very quick VSC. They've already cleared it away. We are racing once again then. No hanging about there.
Farfu's really benefited from that as well. It's now 7 seconds. Yeah,
he's had a good restart there, has Farfu, so that swings it a little bit more in his favour then. Obviously, we don't know, what their strategies are. We've got to assume at this point Farfu probably is going to try to one-stop. I don't know if Botch Gerbil will maybe switch to a one-stop, knowing that, but we'll have to wait and see, of course.
Yeah, I mean, both of them could do it. It's just the state of the tyres will be at the end of it. I mean, I wouldn't want to be on their tyres, put it that way.
No, definitely not. But Farfu is looking more comfortable on the mediums. The gap's now under 7 seconds. He's slowly reeling Gerbil back in as RS F1 Maniac makes his pit stop, presumably for a set of softs, which he probably could go to the end on. Bit of a push, but he'd probably make it. Have to wait and see what he comes out. These are mates on the hards, as we know, and has had a wing change. Just looking at the constructors,
it's just opening up a little bit now, isn't it?
Yeah, just looking at the constructors fight, I think it would still be Racing Point at this point, but still could change. As Leclerc, meanwhile, however, might just swing that as he's just passed Alpaca Carbon for P4. He is 15th. Yeah, nice. I'll tell you what, and what I find very crucial here, F1 Maniac has pit and come out ahead of DZ Mates, who's not seeming to enjoy those hard tyres the same way Leclerc is. So, now this is very interesting then, because so it would be 10 points for Fairmoto, 8 points for Leclerc, 6 for Alpaca, 5 for so it'd be 5 for RSF or Maniac, and then 4 for Mate. So 10, 4, so it'd be 14 for Racing Point, 8, and be 13 for Ferrari. So there's only 1 point in it at the moment between those two teams. So it could be down to Alpaca Carbon here. He could be the one who swings this either in Ferrari's favour or Racing Point's favour at the moment.
You know, he's just done 14 laps on those mediums actually, and that's incredible when you think about it, because
coming into the pits,
it's about the stint length, but he now can just put a set of softs on.
Absolutely. So he's going to come, put the softs on probably. Maniac. So actually, Maniac's doing another medium strategy, but he's got ahead of Mates, which is crucial. Packer Carbon comes in.
Coming on quite nicely. Oh, actually, that's something I've just noticed. No. Leclerc. Well, I mean, Fairmoto will come out behind Leclerc when he pits, but obviously would be on a fresh set of softs, and I assume we'll just fly straight past.
Yeah, and now this is interesting. Alpaca Carbon's put another set of mediums on as well. So it's
of course, because he started on the softs.
Maybe didn't have any fresh ones left, perhaps.
Yeah, because he got caught up in that instant, didn't he?
Yeah, potentially. So he's put a set of mediums on. Now this could be an interesting battle then. If Maniac can close in on Carbon, if he can pass him and hold on to that P5, that could just clinch the constructors for Ferrari. So this is a very important fight here between Carbon and Maniac. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this one. Maniac is slightly older on the tyres, but we know he's usually got good race pace. Remember, he did qualify 3 places ahead of 7 places, I should say, ahead of Alpaca Carbon. So we'll have to see what the raw pace is.
No, Alpaca's done quite a good recovery race after being hit in turn 1, or not turn 1, but lap 1. But yeah, I know why Matt supports him anyway in this race, so that's
Yeah, I think we all do.
a bit of teammanships.
Yes, let's just put it that way. So.
Oh, hang on a minute. What's happened to Bot's Gerbil?
Oh, fair point. Yeah, he's lost a big chunk of time there. 2.7 seconds now the gap. It was about 6. Oh my God! Look at his front wing. Yeah, look at his front wing. I don't think it's just an end plate. He's lost almost everything.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
He has had a big moment there. And now this could be very, very crucial then.
If I was Farfu now, I'd come in for a fresh set of softs himself.
Yes, if he's got any left, it might be a fair idea.
Because no matter what, he'd still come out ahead of Bot's Gerbil.
Yeah, we know Fair Moto has got to stop again as well. Leclerc, I think, will probably not stop it, but is not close enough really to worry these two. But Bot's Gerbil surely is going to have to come in. Yes, he does. But Farfu doesn't. He's staying out then. So Farfu staying out for another lap. So maybe he's going to stick to his one-stop strategy then, which...
Either strategy works. He didn't have to pit. I mean, it's still got... But the issue is that if he does decide to pit later on, Bot's Gerbil can get back out of his pit window.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to see. So Fairmo is going to take second place off of him, but we think Fairmo probably has to stop again. Whether or not he will, we'll have to wait and see. But now Farfu takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Bot's Gerbil will come out, I'm sure will come out P3. I'm sure he's going to stay ahead of Leclerc, who's just coming down the pit straights now.
Yeah, he's comfortably ahead.
Yeah, comfortably ahead. So Bot's Gerbil still in the podium positions for now.
It's been a... None of us saw that either, to be fair. I just looked at the time and was like, why is it 2 seconds? Is the timing gone wrong?
That was a good spot. That was a very good spot, because I didn't see it either.
Yeah, and I just went on board and I was like, hang on a minute, what's happening here? But, yeah, you know what the game's like. It's hard to pick these things out.
It is indeed, as Matt Wins goes pits. No need to worry about that. We only have 7 drivers still running in this race. But all of the constructor protagonists still going. Racing Point, Ferrari and AlphaTauri. Now, Farfu has given him the best chance, but I think he still needs some retirements to happen behind him. But he's doing everything he has to do to try and get it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, credit to Farfu. He's doing absolutely everything right. But I fear it's still not going to quite be enough because he's... So AlphaTauri are 9 points adrift as Fairmoto does indeed box, as I thought he would do. So yeah, AlphaTauri 9 points behind both other teams. So with Farfu scoring 15, potentially 16 if he got fastest lap, which I honestly don't think he's going to though. So 15 points. He would need both Racing Point and Ferrari to score no more than 4 points, which sadly I don't think is going to happen. I think so. I fear AlphaTauri will have to settle for P3 in the constructors, despite a fantastic effort by Farfu.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is going to be close. Oh, and Fairmoto just comes out ahead of Leclerc 16. That was crucial for...
That's very crucial because I'm 90% sure Leclerc will not be in the pits again unless he damages his wing.
Exactly.
Interestingly though, Alpaca Carbon is actually coming alive on these mediums a bit.
He is. He's pulling away.
The Maniac.
He is, and that is, like I said, that is very crucial because that fight was really what was... That was all Ferrari had as a hope in terms of trying to keep the constructors alive, because if IRL F1 Maniac could get ahead of Alpaca Carbon, I think that would clinch the constructors by 1 point. But as it stands, it will be Racing Point that clinches the constructors by 1 point. Fairmoto is scoring 10. DZ Mate is scoring 4. That's 14 overall. Leclerc is scoring 8. IRL F1 Maniac scoring 5. That's 13 points for Ferrari. So as it stands, Racing Point will clinch the constructors by 1 point.
I expect there to be another swing in this table.
Oh, there very well could be. Very well could be. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But now, what is Farfu going to do? I think Farfu's going to hang it out here. He's got a 23-second gap to Bot's Gerbil, who has not actually come out on softs as well. He's on medium tyres.
Yeah, fair most didn't go out on the softs either. I mean, even a U set of softs you could have taken all the way to the end.
I find that very interesting because what that tells me is I don't think people have realised in this. Ugh, what was that? Sorry, I just felt something. I just felt something along my foot. Sorry, I don't know what it was.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. I don't think people have realised just how strong the soft tyres are around this track. And they don't seem to be trusting in them, and they're focusing more on the medium tyres.
I mean, it's a fair assessment because at most tracks, the medium tyres are king. We look at the likes of Singapore, for example, where you get, 2 laps out of the softs and they're awful. So maybe they're thinking street circuit softs aren't good, but it's not the case.
Very much so. For some reason, the soft tyres work well here, so I just fear that these drivers may not have. I'm not going to say they didn't do practice because that's got to be absolutely wrong. They must have practiced here, but maybe they just haven't realised. Maybe they just haven't realised. And tell you what, I know we were saying our pack comes, but IRL F1 Maniac is closing the gap back down.
Do you know what? You read my mind. I literally was about to say it. He was like, hang on a minute, that battle's not over yet.
It is not indeed.
Maybe he's got the stream on and realises that he needs to overtake him to get the instructors.
So he's just giving himself a bit more of a push, a bit more of a kick up the rear, and I'll tell you what, the gap is starting to come down a little bit.
Yeah. But don't go anywhere, anyone. This is,
because this is the crucial fight for the constructors. Presuming there's no penalties, which I don't think there should be. Vietnam is not really a penalty track. As well, Bots Gerbil took the fastest lap. Now Fair Motor is taking it right back. And I tell you what, though, that could be a very crucial point as well.
Ooh, yeah.
Because fastest lap point is a thing in this race.
So hang on, if Maniac gets ahead of Carbon,
it will be tied.
On equal points.
It will be on equal points, and it will go back to count back, and it will count back on victories. And Racing Point have, I don't think Ferrari even have a single victory in this constructors. Let me just have a look.
I was going to say, I'll have a look for you if you want to.
They don't know Ferrari, and I tell you what, I think that's quite impressive in and itself. Ferrari are in this constructors fight, and they do not have a single victory to their name in this season. That in itself is impressive, but it does mean if it ends on a tie, it will be given to Racing Point just by the fact that they have victories.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's unbelievable to be in a constructors fight and not have a single victory. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
That really is a testament to the consistency of that Scuderia. Leclerc and Maniac have been so consistent this year. Just having a look at their results, I mean, they've only had 4 non-points finishes between them. 1 DNS for Leclerc. He's been in the points in every other race. And Maniac has had 1 DNS and 2 DNFs. They have been so consistent, the Ferrari team. And I tell you what, it would be so cruel if they lost the constructors by count back. That would be cruel.
Yeah.
So that fastest lap point could be so crucial if Fair Moto can hold on to it.
Just almost willing someone to go in the pits just so that they can kind of let the fastest lap point not be a thing. But at the same time, I don't want to take away from the team that earns it. So it's one of those.
Yeah, I suppose. I wonder if Farfu pitted. I think he'd come up behind Bots Gerbil, but if he went onto a set of softs now, he'd be blisteringly quick. And might be a threat for that, so we'll see what he does. But one thing I'm noticing now, IRL F1 Maniac is now right on Alpaca Carbon's tail. There's no damage on that Mercedes. I think this is just a strong late surge from the Ferrari driver. Knows he's got to get past if he wants to keep the Ferrari hopes alive. And he's right on the back of that Mercedes. It's Mercedes versus Ferrari. Ooh, IRL F1 Maniac. Big moment though. I think it was a little too eager on the throttle.
You don't want to do that, especially onto the straight. You lose. Well, you lose a lot of top end speed.
Yeah. Hello, Volta. New to the stream. Welcome to IRL. I hope you are enjoying the action so far. Well, you know we certainly are. If you have just joined us, we are currently deadlocked in a gripping constructors fight. I'm just going to quickly flash the on the screen. So you can see Racing Point 125, Ferrari 125, AlphaTauri 116. So they are deadlocked going into this race. As it stands, I think if it were to end now, with Fairmoto claiming the fastest lap, they would win it by 2 points. But RS F1 Maniac is hunting down Alpaca Carbon for a position that is worth, I believe, a couple of points in itself. Yeah, it's only worth 1 point, but actually no, so that actually tells me that as it stands...
Yes, 1 point.
Yes, it's 1 point, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Blech.
That's alright. That's why you've got a code, because I can back you up.
Yeah, exactly, yes. So, yeah, as it stands, Fairmoto is scoring 11, Mates is scoring 4, 15, Leclerc scoring 8, Maniac scoring 5, so that's 13. So as it stands, they would win by 2 points. So in fact, actually, I think it wouldn't be a tie then, actually. If it ended now, I think it would actually be 1 point in favour of Racing Point. I think I got my maths wrong a bit, but nevertheless, it is still a thrilling conclusion to this championship. We've only got a few laps to go. Farfu has just started lap 25, and I think he's looking on course for a fairly comfortable victory because Bots Gerbil is not really making any progress on his 20-second advantage.
Yeah. Well, I've just looked at his results. He generally always ends up in top 2 position anyway, so this will feel like normal to him. Almost like breathing.
Suffocation, no breathing.
Yeah, I think the constructors' battle is still a bit hard to call, but I think Racing Point might just nick it, like you said.
I think they are going to, unless there's something dramatic. Yeah, so they just have to. So DZ Mates knows that he's not going to fall any further than 7th, so he just really needs to coast it to the end and hope that Fairmoto doesn't have a disaster, which he too is fairly comfortable in. Oh, but that could be a very crucial thing. RSF1 Maniac 3-second time penalty, and that could just put pay to any chance Ferrari had.
Yeah, that's not going to look good, is it?
He's not going to drop a position, but I don't think Carbon. Oh! He's had a big snap of oversteer. You can see he's pushing hard, but I fear he may just be pushing a little too hard now. And unfortunately, I think that may have just solidified Racing Point's constructor dream.
Yeah, see, if I was DZ Mates right now, I would just chuck on a set of soft and just solidify that extra point. I mean, I'll be taking it away from a teammate, but he's champion. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it would matter too much in the long run. If it meant completely sealing the Racing Point constructors, yeah, you're absolutely right. But that being said, Maniac's penalty, along with the fact that he's dropping back off of Carbon now, so his late surge, I think, has kind of faltered a bit now. Volta's just pointed out that you're good at commentating, Mark.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So yeah, Rymac has confirmed it. Currently it is 15 points for Racing Point, 13 for Ferrari. If it finishes like this, Racing Point would win, pending any stewards' investigations, of course. But yeah, as it stands, it is going to be Racing Point that claims it, unless in the last couple of laps we have something miraculous happen. It still could happen. Anything could still happen in these last couple of laps, but surely at this point, Farfu is on for a comfortable result. And while he has not done enough to take the constructors away from Racing Point and Ferrari, I think he's done a very good job just to get himself as close as he could.
Yeah, as we said though, with F1, anything can happen, anything will happen. So, with what, 2 laps to go? I'm gonna
2 laps to go from now.
Any more drama comes across? I'd like to think there would be, but does it settle down?
Well, the problem is everyone's really spaced out. There's not really any fights going on, so sadly I do fear this is going to hold station.
Yeah, Carbon is closing on Leclerc, but I don't think it's enough get
not.
before the end of the race. Unless Leclerc makes a mistake.
He could make a
Ferrari
mistake.
don't want-
Yeah, Ferrari need him to be in that P4 if he can, and they kind of need to hope Fair Moto makes a mistake, which I honestly don't think he's going to do. And yeah, at the moment it is looking like this is probably going to be how they finish, barring penalties, of course. I don't think anyone else has a penalty. It's only IRL F1 Maniac I've seen pop up on the
Dan
screen.
did, but obviously Dan's retired. So
Yeah.
I'll just double check that for you.
Yeah, do a double check just as we're coming on to the closing stages of the race. Barfoot coming down towards the hairpin. He looked fairly comfortable. Botch Gerbil took the pole position, of course, but it looks as though Farfu had the better race pace overall, especially on the medium tyres, which he seems to have been much more comfortable with. Botch Gerbil has been closing the gap, but nowhere near enough to threaten this man, who has made a fantastic one-stop strategy work as well. It should be noted. Most people doing a two-stop, but a soft medium one-stop strategy has been executed to absolute perfection by the AlphaTauri today.
Absolutely, and just on the penalty situation, no more penalties for anyone else, but Fairmoto is one warning off a 3-second penalty, which would mean absolutely nothing to him.
It means, yeah, exactly. 3 seconds would mean absolutely nothing to him. He would still hold on to P3, and it would be a nice way for him to round off the season. He obviously didn't get on the podium despite being crowned champion last race. In fact, he was disqualified last race because of 15-second penalties. I think this would be a much better way to round off the season for our F2 champion with a solid podium finish. As we,
shame this isn't the title fight, because we've got Farfu here now and he's leading the race.
I know, if only. It would be much more exciting if it was. But nevertheless, it's still been a very good race with a lot of action-packed drama. Early on especially was absolutely anarchy, with Dan having a, there's no way of putting it, squidgy moment in the hairpin.
Yes.
If you know, you know. Let's just put it that way. As
yes.
Botch Gerbil was the original pace setter, but Farfu made the one-stop work to absolute perfection and is going to claim a very strong victory, and it will also seal his second place in the standings. Gerbil was threatening him after his good race in Russia last week. Well, solid race anyway. There was only a point separating them, but Farfu has done what he needed to do to seal second place in the driver's standings. He's coming around the last couple of corners now. He's driven this race absolutely beautifully. I think he's the only one who didn't have to change his front wing either. Do correct me if I'm wrong. But he's coming around the final couple of corners, and it is a very convincing victory in the season finale for Farfu for AlphaTauri. He wins the Vietnamese Grand Prix in fantastic, dominant fashion, and it's a solid effort. AlphaTauri couldn't quite claim the constructors, but they got damn close. Next up is Botched Gerbil. He solidifies P2 and will finish this season in third in the standings. What could have been had it not been for that mid-season problems for him. Next up comes our F2 champion, claiming a brilliant podium finish and perhaps the result he really wanted last week in Russia. And I believe as long as DZ Mates does not do anything silly on this final lap, it will be Constructors' Championship sealed for Racing Point. Round the final corner comes Leclerc. I think he's going to hold on to P4 just about. Yes, Alpaca Carbon, good recovery drive into P5. IRL F1 Maniac pushed too hard in the end. He comes home P6, 6 seconds off because of the penalty. So we are just waiting for the Racing Point of DZ Mates, who really, I mean, look how much he's just coasting at this point.
I was going to make the same comment about Farfu as he came around the final few corners. He wasn't pushing at all.
I mean, at this stage, you don't need to push. You just need to bring the car home. And DZ Mates is doing that fantastically. And he does it in style. Goes very slow around the final corner.
I think he's run out of fuel.
He might have just run out of fuel. But nevertheless, he solidifies Racing Point's constructor dreams. It is a double championship for the Milton Keynes. No, not Milton Keynes. Where are they based? They're based just outside Silverstone, aren't they?
Yeah,
we'll go with Silverstone outfit then. So it is victory for the AlphaTauri man, Farfu. Fantastic effort by him. Made the one-stop work beautifully. Botched Gerbil second, and our champion, Fair Moto, rounds off the season with a solid podium finish in P3. What a great race we had there, mate.
Yeah, it was very entertaining, to be fair. I mean, you could say there wasn't a lot of on-track action, but you don't need it when there's a lot of drama about hitting walls all the time.
Exactly. When you've got the drama going, you don't need the track action. Obviously, it helps, but there's always more to it. And final question for me, driver of the day. Who would you say is driver of the day?
Oh, it's very difficult for me because I could give it to Farfu, I could give it to Alpaca Carbon, I can give it to Leclerc because all three of them had really good races. I think I'm gonna give it to Alpaca Carbon. I think because he came from last place, he was absolutely clouted at the start. Well, you know, for lap 1, and he's come back and made P5.
Well, Alexander Pantelli agrees with you. He believes Alpaca Carbon driver of the day, and I'm going to have to swing it towards Farfu, however, because I believe, and they can't correct me if I was wrong, but I believe he was the only man who did not have to make a wing change in that race. And he made the one-stop work to absolutely perfection. And for me, I know it's boring to go to race winner sometimes, but I think the race winner thoroughly deserves driver of the day as well, in that case.
I wouldn't disagree.
It's definitely hard to disagree, and I think we're not just getting the podium guys, we're getting the constructor boys in as well, which is absolutely fine. I don't know where Bots, Gerbil and Farfu are, but we do have the constructor boys in at least, so we'll start with them then. We'll talk to the new constructor champions, Fairmoto and DZ Mates. Congratulations on sealing the constructor's title. It was close, only 2 points in it in the end, but you are constructor champions.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, all racing, we're all in the same party, and we don't know what way it would go. So yeah, I had to put at the end and yeah, try to go for fastest lap to try and make it a bit more comfortable. Yeah, I was quite happy when I got it. So yeah, you know, real happy. Well done to mates. You know, we've had a good year together, and yeah, hopefully more to come.
Absolutely, I do hope there is definitely more to come with that. DZ Mates, congratulations to you as well. Maybe not the race you wanted, but you did enough to seal the deal, and it's been a good end to the season for you, obviously, with the podium in Azerbaijan as well. It's been a really good end to the season for you, I would say.
Yeah, I guess the form picked up at the right time, but to be honest with you, Keith had me on his back all season, so yeah.
Hey, the fact is, if it wasn't for your... How many points have you scored then after that? 16 plus the 4... Yeah, so you will have scored 20 points. Without those 20 points, Ferrari would be constructor champions, so you cannot take your contribution away that much. He couldn't do it alone. There's no getting around
definitely.
it. So
yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I would be a bit gutted right now. So yeah, well done. It's, you know, good effort.
I do want to give a shout out to Ferrari though, because I did mention it. They have been in this constructors fight, and they do not even have a single race victory to their name this season. Their consistency has been fantastic. I mean, obviously you would have been disappointed to lose, but are you still impressed by how they managed to keep the fight up? Even right to the end, it was still pretty much neck and neck until you sealed that fastest lap.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari haven't won a race, but they've been in the points near enough everywhere, I believe, and they've had 2 cars, you know, consistently. Maybe not picking up, you know, podium, but we've had both cars picking up, you know, good handful of points everywhere. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't think they've had the ultimate pace that a few other drivers have had. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, consistency is what will win. So, you know, credit to them. You know, they made us work for it tonight.
Yes, very much so. So what does the future hold then for the two of you? So obviously we'll be moving into the next season after the Christmas break. Do you expect to be in the same team? Do you expect to be in a different league to the current one? Or what does the future hold for Fairmoto and DZ Mates? We'll start with Fairmoto first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we know what days we're both doing yet next season. If we're both doing the same days, but yeah, if we are doing the same days, then yeah, I'd love to have him back. Yeah, his mates was quick, but he was a wee bit unlucky. But yeah, latterly, he's turned that corner and yeah, he's been pretty quick. So, if we're back together next season, then I think we'll be ones to beat yet again.
I couldn't agree more. Mates, anything you want to say on that point, or?
I'm absolutely clueless on what's happening in the league next season, to be honest with you. So I guess we'll have to see what happens first and all the arrangements. And as Keith has already said, I'll happily have him carry me again, no constructors, because that work.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, after back here, I was tearing my hair out at mates when we collided. But yeah, I think we've came back pretty well.
You have come back very well indeed. Madman, anything you want to ask our Constructors Champions before we wrap up the stream?
Just one question, I'll say. And were you at any point in that race, mates, considering towards the end just pitting for a set of softs just to get the fastest lap, which is definite,
Yeah,
not knowing what was going up ahead of you?
I'll say me and Keith in the same party, along with the two Ferrari boys as well, and there was a bit of chat here and there, and if Keith I've got that fastest lap, I would have gone in. But as the fastest lap went for Moto, I decided to stay out and just coast home really, as I knew it would be enough, and wouldn't have to worry about, even if Maniac overtook our pack of carbon, we would still would have had it, so.
Yeah, it would have been very tight. I think you would have won it by a point, I think we worked out. Also, did you run out of fuel at the line, or did you just coast along it?
I was I don't know, I was just clapping to the floorlets on the side. I was like, just little, I won't say victory run, because I was rubbish today, but yeah, I was just annoying people a little bit.
Yeah, I think we wanted to make Ferrari wait a wee bit longer, so.
Oh, not fair on them, but I can definitely understand.
I'd have done the same.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, and yeah, all I can say is congratulations once again to our Constructor Champions, and of course our Driver Champion as well, Fairmoto. They have done a fantastic job this season, and yeah, we'll see how they progress next season. But that will be the end then of our stream, and the end of the season, of course. So we will be back, of course, after the Christmas break. As we've heard, we don't exactly know what the formats will be taking, but it will still be an exciting time to keep an eye on the Invictus Racing League. If you do want to join, if you've been impressed with what you've seen, you can obviously go and join us on the website www.InvictusRacingLeague.com. You can see it down at the bottom right now. Obviously, do give us a subscription. We've just hit over 500 subscribers on YouTube, which is a fantastic effort, it has to be said. Well done to not just me, everyone who has been streaming on the YouTube page. Well done to them for continuing to put a good quality product out. And of course, we do have a Twitch as well. A couple of our streamers stream on Twitch as well, so make sure you go like us on there at /InvictusRacingLeague. But that will be it then. We will round it up from there. And yeah, Madman, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure calling these final 3 races with you.
Yeah, it's been very fun.
Has been very fun indeed, and I have no idea what the future will hold for us in this league as well, but whatever happens, it's been a joy working here, and we'll see if we will be here next season. But for now, we will round it off and say good night, and yeah, just enjoy the racing no matter where it is, and have a good one, guys. Good night.